So you've all probably know about the digital divide that has been talked about very widely, that leaves many developing countries without the access to modern tools, technology, and services which are necessary to propel their growth. But what you may not have heard about yet is that there's a similar and equally disturbing digital divide when it comes to internet access between men and women. And this runs a similar risk of leaving women further and further behind as the internet becomes a more and more critical tool in our modern lives. A new study by Intel and Dahlberg that was just released in January found that in aggregate in developing countries, women were 23% less likely to have access to the internet. And this doesn't tell the whole story because that's an aggregate number. And if we look at areas such as sub-Saharan Africa, the numbers are even worse. In sub-Saharan Africa, women are 43% less likely to have access to the internet. And so to put that in perspective, that's almost twice as many men in Africa using the internet than women. And certainly that puts women at a significant disadvantage. The good news is that the world is starting to take notice. In March, the UN Broadband Commission set a fifth new target for the Commission, specifically around bridging this gender gap, which states that aims for gender equality in access to broadband by 2020. So the U.S. State Department and USAID have also made access to ICTs by women a high priority. In October 2010, Secretary Hillary Clinton launched the groundbreaking M-Women program, which seeks to bridge the gender divide in access to internet between men, access to mobile phones between men and women. Programs such as the Alliance for Affordable Internet and USAID's Global Broadband Initiative seek to address the supply side of this issue by expanding coverage to more people in more communities, as well as lowering access costs so more people can afford them. Other programs seek to grow the demand side of the equation by providing more services that are relevant to women's lives and will improve women's lives. Some examples of these are Mobile Mama, the M-Education Alliance, and Better Than Cash. I hope you'll join me this afternoon at 3 o'clock in the Empowering Women's session, where we'll talk more about these and other programs. Of course, telecentres can play a significant role in bridging the gender gap as well. Tessa talked about the Telecentre Women Program, which is a fantastic program that addresses several of the barriers for women to access ICTs. Many times we hear that women may be afraid of some of the new technologies, that they may just not be familiar with them, not realize some of the value that they can bring. And programs like Telecentre Women really help women both overcome their fears, learn basic use of some of these technologies, as well as learn about some of the tools and services that are out there that can really make a difference in their lives. But even for women who are comfortable with the internet and know the value that it can bring to their lives, access often still remains a barrier due to cost, coverage, or cultural issues. Telecentres can help here as well, particularly when they're designed to create a safe space for women to gather. We've seen some great successes where the telecentres are set up alongside of other critical services that women value, such as health centers or marketplaces. Another great practice is setting aside hours that are exclusively for women's use, which can be helpful in regions where it may be uncomfortable for men and women to mix. Of course, the shared model of telecentres can also help bridge the affordability and coverage gap, because this aggregate demand allows telecentres to bring in faster internet access at lower prices when it's shared among so many. So, by increasing access to the internet for women, what we can do is that we can empower women around the globe to improve their education, to find jobs, to grow their networks, to access new markets, to increase the efficiency of their businesses, to drive innovations, and just access a whole new world of information. So I hope that over the next 2 days, as we go through all these fantastic sessions and learn about the fabulous services that telecentres can offer, that you will keep in mind the whole time sort of how we can make sure that all of these services benefit not only all the men and boys in the world, but also equally all the women and girls. Thank you very much.